Have you ever noticed a curious thing? You encounter a person, and there's a certain light behind their eyes, a kind of quiet understanding that doesn't seem to be borrowed from any book or doctrine, but seems to emanate from within them, a peace that is inherent rather than acquired. And then, as time drifts on, you have the sudden realization that you haven't seen them in quite a while. They are no longer found in the usual bustling social circles. Their voice has grown quiet on the digital cacophony. They have, as it were, performed a quiet and graceful disappearance from the main stage. And you might wonder, with a touch of concern or perhaps intrigue, what has become of them? Have they given up on the world? Succumbed to despair? Or have they perhaps ascended to some higher plane, leaving the rest of us fools to toil in the mud? Well, I would suggest to you that the truth is far more interesting and far more simple than any of those dramatic notions. You see, the individual who begins to see through the game of life doesn't storm out of the room in a fit of rage or disillusionment. No, it's that they have, quite suddenly and humorously, discovered that they were never truly in the room to begin with. They were so busy arguing with the furniture, so engrossed in the drama of the decor, that they failed to notice they were merely a guest in a temporary arrangement. So why is it that they seem to vanish? Let us explore this delightful paradox together. You must understand that what we call ordinary, conventional life is a magnificent and complex game. We are all, for the most part, utterly absorbed in playing it. We play the game of my career, my status, my possessions, my opinions, and my personal history. We clothe ourselves in these personalities as if they were the most splendid and serious of costumes, and we become so convincingly identified with the role that we forget it is a performance. But when a certain kind of awakening occurs, it is as if you suddenly see the stitches in the fabric of the costume. You perceive the rules of the game for what they truly are: ingenious constructs, shared agreements, a kind of collective dream we have all consented to inhabit. And once you have seen that, my dear friends, the fervent, desperate urgency to win the game, it simply evaporates. This doesn't mean you stop playing altogether. You may still play, but you do so in the way one plays a game of cards on a rainy afternoon, with a twinkle in your eye, with interest and perhaps skill, but never with the belief that your eternal soul is resting upon the outcome of the hand. And so naturally, almost imperceptibly, you begin to drift away from the company of those who are still screaming and sweating at the poker table, who are still convinced down to their very core that their particular winning hand is a matter of ultimate life and death. Consider that society, in many ways, functions as a vast, intricate network of people reassuring one another that their particular game is of profound importance. We gather in our little clusters, our clubs, our social circles, our online forums, and we engage in a constant buzzing chorus of mutual validation. Yes, yes, we nod. Your ambition is truly commendable. And oh, absolutely, your political stance is the morally correct one. It is a ceaseless echo chamber designed to reinforce the dream we have all agreed to dream, to make the noise seem like a symphony. Now imagine for a moment that you wake up from that dream. The buzzing no longer sounds like important news or profound discourse. It simply sounds like, well, buzzing. And to remain standing in the very center of that chamber, nodding along with great seriousness, pretending that the echo is a revelation, it becomes, in time, excruciatingly tedious. It is, as the old saying goes, like beating a drum in search of a fugitive. The noise is endless, frantic, and it ultimately leads you nowhere. So, the awakened soul does not storm out of the chamber in protest. They simply, quietly, step outside for a breath of fresh, unfiltered air, and they often discover, to their great surprise and relief, that they profoundly prefer the silence and the authenticity they find there.
we spend the greater part of our lives running about like a man dying of thirst, frantically searching for a drink. We seek fulfillment and validation from external sources, from lovers who we hope will complete us, from careers that we hope will define us, from possessions that we hope will secure us. We are in a sense like a bottomless pit, and we are desperately trying to fill this void with the entire world. Awakening, then, is the shocking, the hilarious, the utterly transformative discovery that you are not a pit at all. You are the entire ocean, and you cannot get wet. When you have a direct, non-conceptual realization that your fundamental nature is already whole, already complete, and lacking in nothing, the frantic, desperate search out there begins to slow to a mere trickle, and then it stops altogether. Why, after all, would the ocean feel the need to rush frantically towards the river? It has no such need. It already contains all rivers. So you see, the person who feels fundamentally lacking will be a social butterfly, constantly flitting from one flower to the next, seeking nectar from every source. But the one who feels intrinsically full, well, they discover they can sit quietly in their own company, and they find it is the most fascinating, the most nourishing company in the entire world. When you have spent any significant amount of time touching the fundamental, vibrating reality of things, what some might call the suchness, the isness of life, our common language begins to feel incredibly clumsy, a crude instrument indeed. You wish to convey the ineffable beauty of a sunset, and the best you can muster is, "It's beautiful." But the word is a pale, hollow ghost when placed next to the actual, luminous, awe-inspiring experience itself. So much of our social conversation is precisely this, a constant trading of these pale ghosts. We exchange opinions, gossip, theories, and abstractions, all the while feeling a subtle disconnect from the raw, direct experience of life. The awakened individual often retreats from this constant chatter not because they hold any animosity towards people, but because they have developed a deep, insatiable craving for the real, the direct, the unmediated. They will find more profound truth, more resonant communication in the intricate pattern of rain on a window pane, in the weight of a stone in their hand, or in the rich, fertile silence shared with another who sees in the same way, than they will in 1,000 heated debates about things that, in the final analysis, do not truly matter. They may seem to communicate less with words, but this is only because they are, in their very presence, saying so much more. And this, you see, is the final secret, the great cosmic joke that is often missed. They are not disappearing from the world. Oh no, not at all. They are in fact disappearing into it. While everyone else is rushing, striving, and straining to get somewhere else, to become someone else, to reach some future moment of salvation, the awakened one has finally, long at last, arrived. They are finally, fully here. They are utterly present with the feel of the breeze on their skin, the taste of the tea on their tongue, the sound of the distant bird calling from the forest. They have not abandoned society. They have simply, finally, come to their senses. Their quiet disappearance from the frantic social scene is not a rejection of life, but a far deeper, more intimate embrace of it. They have willingly, joyfully, traded the map for the territory. And the territory, this present moment, this very reality, in all its sublime and ordinary wonder, is infinitely richer, more strange, more complex, and more satisfying than any description of it, any opinion of it, any map of it could ever possibly be. So you see, you need not worry about them. They are not lost. If anything, in a very real sense, they are the ones who have been found. They have not abandoned the game. They are simply playing it now with the lightest of touches, like a dry leaf riding the effortless currents of a river, going exactly where it flows without a shred of resistance. And perhaps, if you are very quiet, and if you stop trying to find them in the old familiar places, you might just sense them, not in the noise of the crowded town square, but in the quiet space that appears between your own thoughts, in the peace you feel when you, yourself, stop all your chasing and you simply, profoundly are. They are there, and so, my dear friend, are you.